Your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Tasmanian doctors have cracked, saying our health system is broken at its core. The Australian Medical Association today launched a scathing assessment after months and months of scrutiny on the state of our hospitals.
Pressures on our health system, a crisis doctors can't see ending anytime soon.
Do you see an end to this crisis?
No. Our health system, which is fundamentally broken at the core, that's not just hospitals, that's the entire health system in the state.
The peak body at boiling point, launching a damning assessment of the government today.
Whatever they've been doing is not working. You cannot keep putting smaller and smaller band-aids further and further to the edge of a problem in the hope that you will solve it.
Saying the problem is outside hospitals and within governance, and hospitals haven't been given any budget to work with to create change.
There is no coordination around the delivery of healthcare in this state, and therefore no one knows what they can do, what they can't do, and how they can go about it.
There is an enormous amount of work going on. As Minister, I remain absolutely committed to delivering these access solutions in full so we see the meaningful outcomes.
The new minister admitting things aren't improving.
Hospital performance measures have not improved in the face of continuing demand, and I have said that publicly. And though we are committed to the ongoing implementation to deliver these improvements.
The fact of the matter is that we're not seeing changes in our hospitals. In fact, things are deteriorating, and the minister simply doesn't have a plan for how to fix it.
The Labor Party's one policy on health was get rid of the minister, and he was changed, and things have got worse. So that policy didn't work. Be nice to hear the rest of them.
Left looking for long-term solutions, with pressure on the system only expected to get worse.
We've got chaos, and we need, once and for all, to sort this out.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Damning evidence has been heard against a Tasmanian aged care operator on a second day of Royal Commission hearings in Hobart. The wife of a celebrated psychology academic fought back tears as she described her husband suffering dehydration and neglect at a Launceston facility.
Judith and husband Neville King in better times, celebrating his 2018 Australia Day award for his life's work.
I'm humbled to receive this award.
He was one of a couple of people that established cognitive behaviour therapy in Australia, and I'm very proud of him.
Now she speaks of shame he suffers in aged care.
I checked, all his clothes were dry, his pull-up was dry, so this was stale residual urine on his skin. I was going in every day because he was desperately thirsty, and by the time that I'd get in there, it'd be 4, 5 o'clock. I would give him up to a litre or a litre and a half.
Dr King lives at Glenara Lakes, run by not-for-profit Southern Cross Care. Today, former facility managers delivered damning evidence over cuts.
I actually said if I have to cut one more hour, I will go. And go I did.
I was just not able to influence the executive or the organisation to fix the gaps in governance and systems that were clearly evident to me.
From Chief Executive Richard Sadek to families and residents.
So I apologise and I'm sorry for them to endure the tension and the anxiety that they have.
He revealed there had been financial issues since 2013, before a pathway to break-even strategy was introduced. A strategy that saw care hours reduced and eventually sanctions against Yarrandoo Hostel in Somerset.
What went wrong? Lack of support to a young facility manager.
Board Chairman Stephen Shirley will give evidence tomorrow before the Commission turns its attention to Bupa. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A Western Australian woman is said to be extradited to Tasmania tonight over the alleged murder of her 71-year-old mother. Our reporter Letitia Wallace joins us live from the Launceston Airport. Good evening, Letitia. When will the extradition happen?
Joe, Nally Mara is expected to board a flight from Melbourne to Tasmania in the next hour. She'll be joined by detectives from Tasmania Police after they successfully applied to extradite her from Western Australia. Miss Mara is facing 1 count of murder over the alleged killing of her 71-year-old mother, Veronica Corstefine. Police discovered her body in South Launceston late last month, but believes she died around 3 weeks earlier. It's alleged there were no weapons used. Her 46-year-old daughter was arrested in Bunbury, Western Australia on Thursday night, and she was remanded during her court appearance in Perth on Friday. Miss Maher is set to face Launceston Magistrates Court tomorrow. Jo?
OK, thank you very much for that, Letitia. Letitia Wallace joining us there from the Launceston Airport. The appeal for convicted murderer Susan Neal Fraser is expected to begin early next year. The Supreme Court has heard it could run for around 2 weeks in March. The 65-year-old is currently serving a 23-year prison sentence for the murder of her partner Bob Chappell in January 2009. Justice Helen Wood also ordered the Channel 9 network to produce the unedited interview of key witness Megan Vass from February. The next directions hearing is set for December 16. 2 people charged with possession of a slave and trafficking in persons have appeared in the Launceston Magistrates Court. It's alleged the pair deceived a woman about her entry into Australia, resulting in exploitation. The court heard the charges are being contested by the defence and the brief of evidence is still being finalised. No pleas were entered. The man and woman can't be identified for legal reasons. They'll appear next month. With demand for Tasmanian exports in the midst of a slump, a new program launched today aims to bolster the state's brand. The Seed Lab initiative will offer expertise and guidance to hundreds of up-and-coming businesses as they attempt to crack the notoriously complicated international market.
Sipping an icon of the Mediterranean, made from Tasmanian trees. This local olive oil maker says taking your business to the global market can be nerve-wracking.
So we're looking at exporting to a high-end food business in Japan, and to be honest, I've been feeling really nervous about it because it's not something that I've done at all before.
But now, Freshfield Grove is one of around 60 local businesses receiving a helping hand through a brand new program.
We've just been awarded 2 years of funding for Seed Lab Tasmania, which is so exciting for Tasmanian businesses. We'll be able to help over 200 start-up Tasmanian food, drink and agri-food businesses get ready for export.
Seed Lab Tasmania, aiming to add to the growing global Tasmanian brand, after a recent report revealed a 3.1% decrease in international export numbers in the past 12 months.
Things like flavour preferences in export markets, perhaps understand how to explain the health benefits of their products. So it's definitely going to add value to all the exports.
With advice and guidance offered by those with experience.
You look that up, but then you run into another complication. So having access to people that have been through all this and who can say, yes, you're doing the right thing, but you need to think about this as well, is just amazing.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
A new real estate report has revealed a drop in the number of property sales, but an increase in median prices across Tasmania. More than 2,000 properties were sold in the last quarter, down by 1.1%. But the average price statewide has increased by 7% since this time last year.
So the number of sales has decreased, as has the revenue that has decreased as well. Although we are experiencing an increase in both sales and prices on the North West Coast, which is very exciting for the individuals on the North West Coast.
The report also revealing a decline in investor numbers and land sales. Hundreds have marched through the streets of Devonport, rallying the federal government to save local jobs. Tasmanian workers are protesting against the government's recent international trade agreements, which the union says will sell off Australian jobs.
We don't need more workers to be brought into this country when we have record low wages and record high unemployment.
The state's union body wants all sides of politics to commit to more homegrown processing and manufacturing. Burnie will become the first of 10 industry training hubs across the country in an effort to slash the high rates of youth unemployment in the northwest. It's hoped the move will encourage students to pursue vocational education over university.
This northwest city soon to transform into a training hotspot. And with recent figures like a 14% uptake in the number of apprenticeships, the federal government says positioning Burnie as a skills hub was a no-brainer.
We see a lot of potential and possibility for growth here.
But on the other side of the coin, a figure much more concerning, a 15% rate of youth unemployment in the surrounding region. It was a big factor in the city becoming the first of 10 industry training centres across the country to pilot the 4-year program.
And let's hope that we bring those numbers down and continue to come down.
The multi-million-dollar investment will see the introduction of a dedicated career facilitator to mentor senior students about vocational pathways.
Anything that brings industry, educators and schools together will be a really positive thing.
The government hopes school leavers will understand a successful future doesn't necessarily stem from having a university degree.
Not everybody on the northwest coast needs an arts degree. You know, we need builders, we need welders, we need people in construction.
The program will begin in January next year. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
The curtain is being raised on the next season of Tasmanian shows with the Theatre Royals 2020 program revealed, ranging from a local production of the Rocky Horror Show to Australian opera and the Russian ballet.
I see these theatres like the campfire that we gather around to tell stories. They're a place of storytelling, and we're much richer if we have a more diverse range of people telling those stories, including ourselves.
Next year's season will also include performances at the newly constructed Studio Theatre, which is due for completion in April.
Launceston cricket fans are being urged to turn out in force tomorrow and help the Hobart Hurricanes get their WBBL season back on track. And the side will have some extra motivation with one of their star performers set for a milestone.
Considered one of the best female players on the planet, Heather Knight could have had her pick of clubs, but has chosen to stay with the Hurricanes since the inaugural WBBL season. Tomorrow she'll play game number 50 in purple as the club chases their first win since round 2 of the tournament.
But we're not far away. I think we've played some brilliant cricket. We just haven't quite done it in those sort of real close moments, so it's making sure we're really switched on.
It's just in those winning situations where we're just not ruthless enough, and like I said before, having that grit to make sure we get the job done.
Having dropped their past 5 matches in a row, the Canes come up against the Sydney Sixers outfit, jam-packed with world-class talent at Invermay Park tomorrow.
We're excited by that challenge actually, because we know if we can make inroads early, I think we can really capitalise on bowling them out.
And with just 6 matches left in the tournament and the race for final spots heating up, the side will be treating every game as a must-win from here on out.
It's all about trying to turn that momentum, trying to swing it round, and once you get that first win, sort of confidence gets back up, and hopefully we can go on a bit of a roll and finish the season very well.
The match begins at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Meanwhile, the Tasmanian Tigers are facing an uphill battle following day 2 of their Sheffield Shield clash with South Australia in Adelaide, with the visitors 2 for 161 and trailing by 329 runs a short time ago. After proving a thorn in the Tigers side yesterday, Redbacks opener Jake Weatherald was dismissed early, just 2 runs shy of his double ton. South Australia eventually declaring at 6 for 490 as Beau Webster and Alex Doolan then set about chasing down the mammoth first innings total. Webster dismissed on 32, with George Bailey lasting just 5 balls at the crease. Doolan going on to notch up a half ton after the tea break to give the Tigers a slight glimmer of hope heading into day 3. And Joe, just some late-breaking footy news. It's being reported tonight that Brodie Grundy has re-signed with Collingwood in a deal that's set to make him the highest-paid ruckman in AFL history. So good night to be Brodie Grundy.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Right. Thanks so much for that, Tom.
Good evening. Temperatures sat between 3 and 8 degrees below average today. Hobart 16, Launceston and Devonport 17 and Burnie 15 degrees. The warmest was 19 at St Helens and Friendly Beaches. Flinders Island and Smithton 15 today. Lowhead 14, King Island, Grove, Ouse and Strawn all 13. Low convective cloud over the state today, replacing the rain band and cold front that moved off to the east overnight and in the early hours. Now that cold front is now off to Tasmania's east, attached to the low to the south. A cold air masses over our region. A high pressure ridge has most of the mainland clear. However, an upper air disturbance brought high cloud to the southern interior of Western Australia. Tomorrow, the high continues to push over the bight as another front crosses Tasmania in the morning. Surface troughs abound further north. Now the winds mostly westerly at 20 to 30 knots, tending west-northwesterly before increasing to 25 to 35 knots and locally to 40 knots over the southeast. Swells to 5.5 metres. With those strong winds, a severe weather warning for potentially damaging winds for most of the state overnight. A gale warning for all coastal waters, a strong wind warning for the lakes. We also have a bushwalkers alert for the western and central plateau areas, a warning to sheep graziers for all except the northeast. Hobart for tomorrow, a top of 16. Windy again with showers. Showers for Geefston 14, 13 the top for Bothwell, getting windy in the centre of the state. Launceston, possible afternoon shower and 17, 16 for Devonport. Possible afternoon shower for Cressy as well, 17 the maximum. 16 for Burnie with a shower or two, 14 for Strawn, showery and windy for Curry and 15 degrees. St Helens a top tomorrow of 18, 17 for Swansea, Orford a shower or two and 16 degrees. UV is 8. Right across the board. On Thursday, showers mainly over the west, central and south, along with the Bass Strait Islands. Showers as well on Friday, mainly over the west and south. Snow to 700 metres. A similar forecast has been posted for the start of the weekend. Sunny in Perth. A cloudy 20 for Adelaide tomorrow. Cloudy and cool in Melbourne. Sunny conditions though over Sydney and Brisbane. And currently it's only 11 in Hobart and partly cloudy, 12 right now in Launceston, bit of cloud over Devonport and 12 degrees. And right now the temperature in Sydney is 35 degrees. Catastrophic conditions for the rest of the week, Joe. Dry, warm weather right through until Sunday in Sydney. The chance of only a light shower on Sunday. Let's hope those fireys can get on top of this bad recipe of weather that's in front of them.
Oh, absolutely, Murph. I think that's what we're all praying for. Thank you very much. That's all from the team for now. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.